Here are the 12 lessons I learned from Kobe Bryant's Mamba Mentality book. What's going on? My name is Kaya Davlar, and I have a goal of helping you reach your max potential. If you want to help me reach that goal, hit the like button down below, and also don't forget to subscribe. Appreciate y'all greatly. Let's get into the video. Number 1, always try new things. On page 22, he says this: when it came to basketball, I had no fear. What I mean by this: if I wanted to implement something new into my game, I'd see it and I'd try incorporating it immediately. I wasn't scared of missing, looking bad, or being embarrassed. That's because I always kept the end result, the long game, in my mind. And so when I read that, I think of how when he saw something that he wanted to try, he'd always try it. He'd always try implementing it into his own game. And by doing so, it allowed him to go get better beyond levels. He always kept the end game in mind when doing so. Always try incorporating new things into yourself and adding onto yourself to become the best version. Become who you want to be. Number 2, greatness requires sacrifice. On page 33, he says this: if you really want to be great at something, you have to truly care about it. If you want to be great in a particular area, you have to obsess over it. A lot of people say they want to be great, but they're not willing to make the sacrifices necessary to achieve greatness. And I find that so true. So many people say they want this dream. So many people, they want to succeed or achieve certain things in life, but all those people are not willing to put in the time and the effort it takes and sacrifice all those things in order to get their dream and make that come true. Number 3, always play your role. On page 60, this is what he says: there's one anecdote Bill shared that stuck with me. He recounts how people always said he wasn't a good ball handler, just didn't know how to handle and shoot the ball. He said sure, he could do all those things, but why? Why would he lead the fast break when Bob Cousy was playing with him? Why would he shoot jumpers when Sam Jones was on the wing? The message was that if you want to win championships, you have to let people focus on what they do best while you focus on what you do best. For him, that was rebounding, running the floor, and blocking shots. That's a perfect example because so many people will let their ego get in their way in that situation. You can't let your ego get in your way. Whatever you want to do in life, if you're not good in a particular area, have someone help you in that area. Don't try and do everything yourself. You want to focus on what you're good at and let others focus on what they're good at. Play your role. Number 4, always ask questions. On page 40, he says this: I asked a ton of questions. I was curious. I wanted to improve, learn, and fill my head with the history of the game, no matter who I was with, a coach, Hall of Famer, teammate, and no matter the situation, game, practice, vacation, I would fire away with questions after question. When you want to be the best at what you do, you have to learn from others that are successful. You have to ask questions, learn to pick their brain, and take out all their good parts from them. Asking questions is the shortcut towards success. Number 5, be authentic. On page 78, he says, keep it real. When I was young, my mindset was image, image, image. I took that approach with the media. As I became more experienced, I realized no matter what, people are going to like you or not like you. So be authentic and let them like you or not like you for who you actually are. At that point, I started keeping all my answers blunt and straightforward. I would mix in some humor and sarcasm too. I think fans and recorders came to appreciate that. Came to appreciate the real me. This is a personal favorite because I feel like this is a lesson that I learned early in life and I'm decently good at doing. You always want to be authentic because either way, if you're faking it or being who you actually are, you're always going to have haters, no matter what. So you might as well be who you truly are. Number 6, fall in love with the process. I forgot what page number this was on, but he says Mamba Mentality isn't seeking a result, it's more about the process of getting that result. And basically what he means there, if you're just chasing after one thing and not enjoying the process, you're never going to get to that one thing you're chasing. Like in business, if you're just chasing money, you're never going to get to the money because you need something deeper that's going to motivate you. The money isn't enough in most cases. You need to truly enjoy the process and the journey that it takes to get to where you want to go in order for you to truly be successful in that journey. Number 7, study, practice, and perform. On page 102, he says, people make a huge deal out of clutch shots. Thing is, it's just one shot. If you make 1,000 shots a day, it's just one of 1,000. Once you're hitting that many, what's one more? That was my mentality from day one. Also on 123, he says, at the end of my first season in the NBA, we had made it to the semifinals up against Utah. But in the deciding 5th game, I let fly 4 air balls and we lost our chance at the title. These shots let me know what I needed to work on, my strength. That's all the air balls did for me. In that game, nerves weren't the problem. I just wasn't strong enough to get the ball there. My legs were spaghetti. They couldn't handle that long of a season. How did I respond to that? By getting on an intense weight training program. By the start of next season, my legs and arms were stronger and I was ready to get it on. By studying, practicing, and performing, you're able to realize what you need to work on, practice what you need to work on, and then you're able to use what you just worked on and actually perform with it. Studying is a huge thing that you need to do, whatever it may be in that you're trying to pursue. You need to understand what that journey is going to be like and what it's going to take to get there. And then once you understand that, you need to practice it. And once you practice it enough, then you're going to naturally start to perform. Number 8, recognize your weaknesses. On page 169, he says, during his first few years in the NBA, KD had certain deficiencies in his game that I would exploit. At the time, he struggled shooting pull-up jumpers while going to the post. Those holes, despite his immense height, made him guardable. Fairly quickly though, within a year or two, he became proficient at pulling up on the right side. A few years after that, he added a few left shoulder post moves. Before I knew it, he was a 7-foot handful on the court. And that's Kevin Durant's story. For almost a decade, he did nothing but address weaknesses and add to his game. Now his skill set is completely fleshed out. His offensive game has no weaknesses. He's a nightmare to go up against, and he's worked to achieve that status. You need to put your ego aside and look at your weaknesses. Find out what do you need to work at. Once you find out what your weaknesses are, address them and work on them. And soon enough, you'll have no weaknesses. By taking away all your weaknesses, that'll lead you to the best version of yourself. Number 9, never complain. On page 172, Kobe says, when I got hurt, I never dwelled on what happened. Over the course of 20 seasons, I suffered my fair share of serious injuries. The first thing I always thought about in those situations was, what do I need to get back to 100%? That was my mindset. I never let fear or doubt seep into my psyche. I never whined and I never complained. I mean, for what? That's a great mindset to have, because genuinely, what is complaining going to do for you? Complaining will lead you nowhere. And if anything, it puts a negative light onto you. No one likes a complainer. If you have a situation you're upset with or don't like, do something about it. Don't complain about it. No one's going to do anything for you. You got to do it yourself. Number 10, be logical, not emotional. On page 175, he says, emotions are a major component of basketball. The game is full of ebbs and flows, the good, the bad, and everything in between. With all that was going on around me, I had to figure out how to steel my mind and keep calm and centered. That's not to say my emotions didn't spike or drop here and there, but I was aware to recalibrate them and bring them back to the levels before things spiraled. I could do that in a way others couldn't, and that was really key for me. That should be a key for you too. Whenever you're able to look at things logically versus emotionally, you're able to take your emotions out of it and understand what is the logical explanation for this. When you figure out the logical way to go about things, it ends up always being better than what you would have done if you would have made an emotional decision. Number 11, compete against the best. On page 176, he says, over time, I saw him mature greatly as a defensive player. He understood the significance and importance of it. He understood that if you want to win championships, you, the star, have to take on the responsibility of guarding the other team's best player. I always prided myself on guarding the best. If you want to make it in business or in life, if you want to be the best, you have to compete against the best. Even if you fail against the best, at least now you have that exposure towards it. When you truly want to be the best, no matter what, you're going to have to play against the best people. And I don't know about you, but I want to be the best in everything I do. And you have to understand, in order to do that, you're going to have to face the big people in your industry. And finally, at number 12, accept tough love. On page 188, he says, yeah, I love playing with Meta. He was able to deal with and even sought out tough love. He wanted me to let him know, look, enough of that, we're going to win a championship, so don't mess it up. Most people wouldn't do that with him. They were either intimidated or scared how he might respond. He knew I wasn't, and he respected that. So many people are so quick to judge when someone tries to give them tough love. It's basically the same thing as constructive criticism. When someone's giving you tough love, they don't mean it in a negative way. They're trying to make you better. And so you need to accept that tough love and become the best version of yourself. And that's going to do it for today's video, guys. If you guys found this video helpful or useful in any way, please hit the like button down below and don't forget to subscribe. I appreciate y'all greatly, and I'll see you next time. Peace.